Hi everyone, this is your video tutorial on adrenal health, and today I just want to remind you why it is that I'm having you send in your sample to get your adrenal hormone levels tested. So at this point we've already probably met together and I've provided you with a sample kit. Most likely I'm having you collect 4 samples of your saliva, one in the morning, 30 minutes after you get out of bed before you've eaten anything, one around the lunch hour, one in the late afternoon, and one right before bed. Also, before the lunch hour collection, I'm having you do the carbohydrate stimulation test, which means that you're going to collect um, your saliva 30 minutes after you've had a nice big dose of carbohydrates. About 75 grams is your goal. And in the handout inside of your box is an outline of various foods and their carbohydrate content. If you choose 5 foods from that bullet point, you're going to add up to 75 grams of protein, which will help to really, grams of carbohydrates, which will help us to really stimulate your body's insulin response to make sure that your insulin is working up to par, meaning that your body's able to identify when some sugar is coming down the pipeline and is ready to respond appropriately to it. Sometimes when we have compromised adrenal health, one of the other issues that we will have is poor blood sugar management, which can contribute to irritability, fatigue, or ups and downs of energy levels and mental focus throughout the day. So if that's part of your health picture, we want to know that so that we can address it appropriately. But the bigger question is, why are we testing your adrenals? And we may have discussed this briefly in your visit, but I want to just take a little time to remind you of the significance of your adrenal glands and the role that they play in your overall health. So our adrenals are triangle-shaped glands that live above our kidneys, and they are named for adrenaline, one of the primary hormones that they secrete. And I'm probably sure you're familiar with the concept of an adrenaline rush, which is a surge of adrenaline under a stressful situation. And that is what your adrenals were designed to manage for you, our stressful situations. Unfortunately, over time, the amount of stress that our bodies has been exposed to on an ongoing basis is exponentially increasing. Every time we slam on the brakes on the freeway, when someone cuts us off, we get a quote-unquote adrenaline rush. This is something our bodies have not evolved to catch up with, meaning that our bodies are not adjusted to managing such rushes of adrenaline on a regular basis. So over time, our adrenals begin to fatigue and not be able to manage that stress as well. So if you've been through a stressful period of time in your life, or an extremely stressful event has occurred in your life, there's a good chance that you are experiencing some degree of what we call adrenal fatigue. And the reason we're doing the test with the saliva is to evaluate what degree of adrenal fatigue you're experiencing and during what time of the day is this fatigue affecting you the most severely. The other hormone that's secreted by the adrenals that's really important to us is cortisol. And cortisol is a hormone that follows a circadian rhythm, meaning that in the morning it's nice and high. When we wake up, get out of bed, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. And then as the day progresses, it declines so that by bedtime it's nice and low so that we can sleep. Unfortunately, if our adrenals are starting to drop offline, that curvature is going to also drop offline, and you can see various functions where either the adrenal becomes, the cortisol output becomes sort of inverted, and we're seeing a spike in adrenaline or cortisol right before bed, making it really difficult to fall asleep. Or we're seeing very low cortisol output at the beginning of the day, making it hard to get out of bed. You're dragging yourself to get your day started. And then as the day progresses, you might feel somewhat okay, but then bedtime comes and you're not as tired as you'd like to be, and that's more of a flatlined adrenal function. There's a lot of variations on the adrenal response, and that's why we're testing your specific adrenals so that we can know what your adrenal axis looks like. Once we have that information, there's a lot of naturopathic treatment options for helping to restore your adrenal health and get you back in balance on that circadian rhythm. Hopefully this video has been helpful in explaining to you why we're testing your adrenals and what we're looking for. If you have any additional questions, feel free to send me a message, or we can discuss it at your next office visit. I look forward to seeing you soon. In good health. Cheers.